Hey, I'm Ricky Harrell, coming live from the studio. Let's talk about fatherhood. It's never too late to grow.
Welcome to Chat and Chew.
Welcome to the
Real
show.
Real healing.
From Raleigh roots to hearts renewed, we're building men, we're breaking through. Healing fathers, saving families too. That's what we do at Chat and Chew. Second chances, brand new views. Strong and resilient, coming through. Bringing fathers all the way back home. With care, with heart, with love, our own.
Fathers forever.
Please make sure you follow us on Facebook, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, hit the bell to activate notifications to let you know when we're on. Be sure to leave us a comment to let us know how we're doing. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Ricky, and I'm so excited to bring you this season 5 of the Chat and Chew podcast. This is the very first episode of a brand new season of Chat and Chew podcast. First off, let me say thanks to everybody who's been tuning in, who's been watching, who's been subscribing, and who's been supporting. It really does make a difference to have your eyes. We're going to do it regardless, but when you watch, it makes it that much more special. And I have a special guest here who really needs no introduction. The man himself, Dr. Glen Warren, is here. How are you, sir?
I'm well, sir.
How is Fathers Forever doing?
We are alive and well.
We're alive and well, and there's so much more to do. We always talk about doing great things and every year being better than the year before. Even in the faith that we're part of, it talks about going from faith to faith and glory to glory. But sometimes in life, if we're not careful, we can move too fast. Right. And there are times where you have to take a stop, take a pause, take a moment, and recap everything that has been done to really cherish it. And so that's what this episode is going to be about. Before we jump into everything that you all are planning to do, I know there's vision, I know there's plans, I know that there's momentum rolling into 2026, but a lot happened in 2025. A lot has happened in 2025, and as a leader of the organization, it's important to let those of you watching, the supporters of this organization, I want you to understand when you decide to come into alignment and support the vision of Fathers Forever, whether that be through your emotional support or really a big one, your financial support, you need to understand that you're giving to something that's actually working, something that's actually impactful. And so we're going to cover some impact numbers and really walk through everything Fathers Forever has done in 2025. It's been an amazing year. If you had to give a quick summary on what was 2025 like for Fathers Forever, what would it be?
It was explosive.
Explosive.
Yes, we did some monumental things. We got some other things that we just found out about that we did in 25. Some amazing things. So it's been a wonderful year. It had some challenges, but for the most part, we was tracking.
Absolutely. And then for those who don't know the origin story of Fathers Forever has been around for how long exactly?
18 years.
18 years. And so this is not a new thing. This is a true thing. This thing has been around for a long time. And when you go back and think about the start of it, 18 years ago, how it started and how it came to be, and today, what is it? How it's grown to so many things. Just look at the evolution of what Fathers Forever has been from the grassroots days to where it is now. What is that like to just sit back and think about 18 years ago where it started versus 2026 where it is today?
Wow. When I had the vision, Ricky, I sit down at a restaurant with a friend of mine, and I was talking to her about what I wanted to do, and I just I had a piece of paper, and I just pulled out the napkin, and I just drew the diagram of what I envisioned Father Forever to do, and we've done it. We've transitioned. We started out just as a jail diversion curriculum in the courtroom, now to a 46-bed recovery and reentry program that I didn't know that was coming. But it's been amazing the men that we've touched, the lives that we've touched, coming from the first 5 or 6 years. We didn't receive any funding, very little funding, with 2 or 3 no paid staff.
Right. Volunteer. Right, yeah.
Now to go on to over 23 staff.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a journey it's been, we haven't had any major setbacks, we've been steadily, it's like, pacing and higher and higher and higher. And it's been what the thing that really touched me is the lives
Yeah.
that we've touched, and the men that we get phone calls from every week calling us back and saying, "Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for Fathers Forever."
Right.
That in itself is amazing to me.
And that is why this episode is so important, because every number that we're getting ready to show you, every number is a life.
Yes.
Every number is a soul. Every number is a person that their life has been impacted for the better, for improvement. And it all comes from this vision of healing fathers and saving families. And that's what y'all have done person by person, man by man, program by program, hour by hour, that it all goes into building something that gives. And that's the power of Fathers Forever, is that the work that's being done here is not just work to get a profit. It's not just work to get recognition, but it's work that, I don't know if we recognize this, that generations from now, there's some woman, there's some boy, there's some girl, there's some man that's going to be able to say, I'm grateful to God that Fathers Forever was around, because it taught my dad
Yes.
how to be there for me.
Yes.
It gave my family
Yes.
some foundational elements that we could use, that now we're living off the, they're literally going to be generations from now on that's going to say, after my father went through Fathers Forever, everything changed for our family. And now they're going to be able to be the kind of fathers and parents and leaders that they need to be for the times that they're going to be. And that's what I really do believe wholeheartedly, that Fathers Forever is a timeless organization. And the work that you all do today is going to show up tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
And so we want to take a look back at everything Fathers Forever has done in 2025. 2026, I've got a suspicion that 2026 is going to, I think you, I think the word you use encapsulates
Yeah.
the momentum for next year or this year. Explosive is the right word.
Yes.
I feel like it's going to be explosive. And let's look at 2025, because if I be honest, this already looks explosive on everything you all have done. And it's gone from jail diversion is where it started. I remember hearing the stories about Fathers Forever in the early days, where a father would be in court for non-support,
Yeah.
getting ready to be sent off into the system, and you all were there as an advocacy, as an intervention method to say, hey, don't just throw him in jail, but let us work with him, let us build him, and to see how that has turned into initially housing or wraparound services wasn't a part of Fathers Forever, but now Fathers Forever. How many beds did you say?
We have 46 beds.
You guys have 46 beds, and these 46 beds, primarily for those who don't know, are for those who are coming out of prison.
32 of them come straight from prison.
Straight from
the
prison.
other 14 beds is an opiate house, but they have a record as well. They may not be coming from prison; they may come from off the street, but it's still they have a record of with mental illness, the same kind of wraparound services that they need.
Right, and the purpose of this is, whether it's out of prison or whether you come out the street, the purpose, the heart is reentry and rehabilitation.
Exactly. That's the point. Yeah.
We want to help you re-enter. We want to help you be a productive member of society, where you can produce and provide and have purpose and have destiny, do everything you need. And when we talk about housing and wraparound services, I know, you guys heard us say 46 beds, but it's much more than a bed.
Yes.
So before we get into the numbers, let's talk about what all goes into, so people can fully appreciate and understand, and maybe even support all that goes into. When you say a bed, what does it take to run this and to sustain this, especially for as long as you guys have been doing it?
Yeah. So when a guy is referred to us from DOC, Department of Adult Correction, they come to us in uniform from prison.
Wow.
We do the intake. The PO stays with them until we do the intake, in case they don't want to stay. It's a voluntary basis. If they complete the intake, we take it from there, and from then they got 90 days with us. If they need some more time, they can get 120 days, and we provide wraparound services, and we get into some of that. But they stay with us for 90 days, 120 days, and in that we provide a lot of case management to kind of help them when they get ready to leave, to not have a more permanent place to stay at least a step up. And so that person, we feed them 3 meals a day. We have a clothes closet. They come in to get clothes. Our staff, we have three staff that primarily focus on food. Feeding 46 men
Wow.
for 3 meals a day for 30 days, that's a lot of moving parts.
Men can eat.
And we can eat. And we try to give them, I grew up in the country, and you can tell I love to eat.
Me too. Hey, me too.
And, we grew up, my mom and dad, we provided for us. And when these guys eat, they eat a good meal.
Right.
And we want to make sure that, they have what they can do to go to the next level. So it's a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
That bed is, there. And some guys don't make the cut because they're not ready, if you will, and they have to be put out, have to, go back to. But a lot of guys hit the ground running, and they graduate and they do well, and they get on with the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I think it is phenomenal that something exists that says we'll help you.
Yes.
After you have done whatever you needed to do inside the system and now you're ready to come back into the life, there are times where sometimes we need help.
Yeah.
And sometimes for a person to be successful, they have to be set up for success. And I believe this 90 days is very, very pivotal and instrumental in helping them acclimate to this new reality.
Right.
That how am I supposed to live my life? And it helps when I can be a part of a program where I can focus on making sure my mental is ready. And I don't have to worry about where I'm going to sleep.
Right.
I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat.
Right.
I've got 3 meals provided, and I've got somewhere to sleep, and then clothes. Our church greatly supports Fathers Forever. I just loaded up somebody's truck with suits and shoes that's on the way to you right now. And so I know this is a worthy cause. And when you look at the housing and wraparound services, since its inception in 2017,
Yeah.
and 2027, y'all are coming on a decade of doing this. Since the inception, there have been 1,255 men served through the DAC program since 2017. That's 1,255 men. And can we just give some kind of virtual applause? If you're watching this live right now, anytime you're watching this, I need you to put some hand claps in the chat or hooray in the chat or something. I want to celebrate this number because 1,255 men have been served through this program since 2017. And that goes to show you that what you guys are doing is working.
Yeah. We started out with 4 beds.
Started out with 4.
4 beds in 2017.
And now it's moved to 46.
Now moved to 46.
Wow. And not just that, I'm seeing here, you guys started something in 2025, this opioid recovery housing program.
Yes, it's another grant that kind of went out that these guys that have addiction with opiates. I mean, the weed, and a lot of people got addiction with weed and cocaine.
Right.
This house focuses on opiates, the fentanyl, the heroin, the heroin and all the other drugs that's opiate, that's deadly, especially the fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
They can have addiction as well with cocaine, but in order to get in this house, you have to have a past use of opiates. Pain pills, Percocets, all those kind of things. And that's another whole beast in itself. Because these guys are struggling with fentanyl, which is a deadly.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
people, the epidemic of fentanyl has been.
It's been crazy. Yeah, it has.
Hard.
Very devastating.
Yeah. And so we got 14 beds that's kind of dedicated to those. And we've been successful.
Right, with those 14 beds and really just 11 months, because it says February.
Yeah.
So that's not even a full year. Just in 11 months, it says here y'all have served 91 men through this. Y'all, that's a phenomenal thing. The way we got to see it is there's 91 men that would have been left alone to try to figure it out for themselves and might not have been successful had there not been a program. We got to be grateful that there are programs and there are things that are involved that can help men. And when you culminate these two together, when you look at everything, all the men you serve through your DAP program and all the men you serve through your opioid recovery housing, total men housed across both programs have reached to the staggering number of 1,346 total men. If that's not an impact number, I don't know what is, because when I look at 1,346 men, I'm not just looking at that as a singular number. We've got to see that's 1,000. Remember, Fathers Forever is about healing fathers, but the reason why we want to heal the fathers is because we want to save the family. And so when you touch 1,346 men, you touch 1,346 families. And that has a long-lasting impact. And you all reach down, even down to, you have housing and wraparound services, but even down to the basic needs and the stabilization. I'm seeing here that throughout your program, hundreds of men, they receive bedding, they receive clothing, they receive hygiene packages. Let's talk about the importance of, because sometimes as a man, oftentimes when we need something, all my men out there, when we need something, it is not always easy for us to ask for what we need. For a man, dignity is important. And let's talk about how through the bedding, through the clothing, through the hygiene packages, what's the heart behind that? Because it seems like you all are trying to ensure that there's dignity in what you do.
Yeah, if a man comes to us and I say he has nothing, so we have to go out and buy the beddings, the clothing, the hygiene package, and those things come out of our budget. We have some funders that help with those things, but those things can get very expensive. Every man gets a towel, a washcloth, toothbrush, hygiene package, and often they take that with them when they leave. And sometimes we will allow them to do that. We try to get on the recycle, but sometimes they don't. Where they going at, they don't have anything because they came to us with nothing. They may have accomplished some things, but sometimes they take that with them, and that can get very expensive. But when a man, if I didn't know where I was going to lay my head at tonight, can you imagine the anxiety that will put me through? And I'm struggling with addiction. That's a double whammy. So how do you expect me to stay clean if I don't have that peace of mind? So, but just with the bed, it comes all the other things that we kind of overlook.
100%.
With the sheets, and the washcloths, and the pillowcase, and the toothbrush, and the razors, and all these things that these guys need to go out now to prepare for a job.
Correct.
Because they got to go out now, they got to look presentable. And so to be able to buy those things, and then the hygiene package is very important as well because, again, they don't have any money to go out and buy it. Now, when they get a job, we require them to buy some of those things.
Right.
And they rightfully so, they do. But just starting out, they rely totally on us and our funders.
Because there's certain things that happen in that process. I realize the powerful thing about this is before you give them anything, you restore their dignity.
Yes.
And when you restore a person's dignity, it's not just a toothbrush, it's not just a razor, it's not just a towel, it's dignity.
Exactly.
And when you restore a man's dignity, you put in him, you give him a different definition to see himself as. And once you can teach a man how to see himself differently, how to hold his dignity differently, you greatly impact and you greatly intervene on how it is he can move and how he can navigate. And in 2025 alone, monthly distribution supported men transitioning into stable housing and employment-ready environments. This is the powerful thing about. I want you to understand that, why we spend so much time on a toothbrush or a razor, because it's not the bedding and the wraparound services. It does so much. It's so important because it allows men to see themselves differently. And Deion Sanders said it best, Coach Prime. When you look good, you play good. When you play good, you feel good. When you feel good, they pay good.
Exactly.
And it's important. And so shout out to Fathers Forever because it takes a heart to think about not just, you could come in and say, hey, we're just going to do the bare minimums. Right. We're just going to get this for the numbers' sake. It screams that you care about the soul of the man because you're saying we want him to have dignity. We want him to see himself differently. And so I think that's a phenomenal thing. And even down to, I'm grateful that 2025 in February, this opioid thing started because recovery and harm reduction is something that's been a reality for our culture for a long time. Many of you may know people, you may be related to people, or you may have heard stories or been affected by realities of people who struggle with recovery, who struggle with harm, and for you to be in a position and a place to do that, I just want to celebrate that recovery and harm reduction, not just from drugs and dangerous things, but life in general. It says y'all are now educating people in how to do CPR.
Yes, when we got that grant, we wrote in there. Back in the day when. And some people push back against that back in the day when people, doing shooting up with the needles, and they came up with the idea of providing addicts with needles. Some people push back and say, that's crazy. You just give them a license to use. Well, they use it anyway.
Right.
At least now give them some license.
Safety.
Some new needles that they're not, they still doing the drug, but now maybe they won't get hepatitis because they got a new needle instead of using a used needle.
Right.
But the same concept when they said, okay, let's train these men with these addictions to do CPR and first aid because they're the ones that's in the houses when people OD. So if they're there and they equip them with CPR and first aid, they could be the first one on the scene that can administer
Wow.
some life-saving things that may save that person's life. And when the police get there, he don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
They're not in trouble. They don't ask them a question. They don't look at that. They look at you saved this person's life. You call 911. They're not going to do anything to the other person. So that in itself made a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our guys, they go through that training. Maybe one day they may never need it, but in talking to most of the guys, I asked them, have you ever been in a house with somebody, you watch anybody OD? And probably 95% of them raised their hand and said, I know somebody who OD'd and I was there when they did it.
Wow.
Whether they died or whether they, somebody,
Yeah.
and all of that hit them with the Narcan. So that they trained to do that as well. So
Wow.
they're in that, they're in that environment because that's where they use that.
So you're training these men to perform life-saving measures.
Exactly.
And that's why this is so important, because I can hear some people at home might be saying, if you didn't do any of that, you wouldn't be at risk.
Right.
But when you understand and you're taught to value life, that we don't need you to make all the best decisions before we care about you being around
Right.
and living. We want to, because we understand all it takes is one moment.
Right.
All it takes is a decision. Really, it's just some people are one moment away from their life changing. And it sounds like Fathers Forever is about to. We care about you enough to get you to that moment. And if you need to provide first aid or CPR, even in a bad decision, we still think you're worth living. We still think your life means something. And I think that's just phenomenal. I'm also seeing, and this is why I'll always advocate for you supporting agencies and organizations like Fathers Forever, because Fathers Forever does a various, numerous things. You also have given rental assistance.
Yes.
Removing these immediate barriers to long-term stability, because sometimes long-term stability can't be somebody's focus when they've got an immediate barrier in front of them. Talk about that a little bit.
Because, sometimes when the guys come to us, especially out of incarceration, they come to us unemployed. And now it takes them a while to get a job. So they've been with us 120 days. It might take them a month and a half to get their ID to get a job. So they only got 60 days left. Well, maybe they get their first paycheck. And they don't have enough money now for the deposit and the first month rent. And sometimes those are going to another level. They're not there on their own apartment.
Mm-hmm.
They go to an Oxford house or to another house that's kind of like ours, but self-pay. And sometimes those places charge $100 a week. And so we say, you know what? We're going to give you $400. We won't give it to the guy. We give it to the agency that he's going to.
Right.
And so that'll give him another month now that he don't have to pay rent.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's out, but now he's got to buy food because remember we give him $3 in the car, but now he's out of the program. You don't get $3 in the car. That's another expense he got to pick up. So we can't give a whole lot of money, but we wrote that in a grant and said, hey, let's pay at least for a month for them to be another month free, that they can now save some money and get prepared for the transition. Because you went from, I don't have to pay light bill, I don't have to pay phone bill, don't have to buy anything to eat, they got to pay rent. Now you got all this change.
Yep, and that stacks up quick.
The moment you step out of our house into the other house, that starts. And so it's not a lot, but that $400 is a cushion that can give them at least a couple of weeks.
Hey, a little bit goes a long way.
Yes, yeah.
A little bit goes a long way. When we talk about everything you all have done in 2025, these are impact numbers, and I want you guys to see these numbers and sit with these numbers, and I want you to feel these numbers, because this is a living proof that Fathers Forever, it works, and that is needed and it's necessary. And I know the world is moving fast, technology is moving fast, AI is moving at a rate that we've never seen it before. But you know what I've discovered? As long as there are people, as long as this world is what it is, people are going to always need healing.
Yes.
People are going to always need help. And aren't you grateful at home that there are things in our world that exist, like Fathers Forever, that's literally putting themselves in a position to heal fathers and to save families? As a recap, 1,255 men served through the DAC program. 91 men served through the opioid recovery housing program, which totals up a total impact number of 1,346 total men housed across both programs. And then we move down to basic needs and stabilization, that 46 beds that are being used right now to help fathers get back on their feet, re-enter into society, be productive members of our society, restoring the dignity of men, recovery and harm reduction, teaching these men to value life to the point where they now know how to save a life, whether it be through CPR, through first aid, through NICAM, how to administer it, how to help, and even down to being able to provide, even though it's not much, a little goes a long way, provide rental assistance to those that may need the extra boost and the extra help to get in. That is a phenomenal feat. And it's something that we should be proud of, to say that we know of something or we can support something that can get behind it. Now, for those of you watching at home, what else would you need to support something like this? And I just want to make that claim, Fathers Forever, Dr. Glenn, they're humble, but I want to be a little aggressive here and says, as you're planning your 2026, as you are thinking about what it is that you're going to support, because we all have a little something that we could use to support. If we look at our bank statements and look at the amount of Starbucks that we buy, how many times we go to Chipotle, or let alone how many subscriptions we got to Netflix, to Prime, to Hulu, to all these different organizations, I want you to really open up your heart and ask yourself, is this going to be the year? Well, I want to give to something beyond myself. I really want to impact this world. And like I said earlier, a little bit goes a long way. I want you to consider this year coming into support for an organization like this. It would mean the world for you all. What does it mean? What would you say to those watching on why is Fathers Forever a good cause to support?
Because we're changing men's lives that are changing generations.
Ooh, yeah.
That are changing families. They're putting these men back together with their family. That makes a big difference. Whether you donating $50,000, or whether we just got a check in a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
For $150, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just support us in helping us get these men back on track, get back with their family, and makes all the difference in the world, and a little bit helps all the time.
And I want you to catch this. The amount is not important. What's important is your support. I don't want you to ever think, all I got is $100 to give. That $100 goes a long way because you see exactly what it's going to. For those of you out there who are able to give more, I admonish you to give more. The Bible tells me, ask and you shall receive. And so if you're somebody that has capacity, you're somebody who has an abundance of wealth, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that Fathers Forever is good ground. So some of you may have access. There's something important about exposure. When you can get exposed, and there are times where you might not have the monetary capacity yourself to give what you want to give, but sometimes you've been blessed with relationships and contacts, and you're able to expose the message of Fathers Forever. I want to ask everybody this, even if you can't give monetarily, I want to ask you this. All season this year for the Chat and Chew podcast, every time you see a post, a social post, every time you get an email newsletter, any type of correspondence or communication that you get for Fathers Forever, one of the greatest ways you can support this organization, share everything you see. Everything that come across your feed that says Fathers Forever. Engage with us. Make sure you're following us on all our social media platforms. Make sure you are in tune with, we got to go, but I just want to give them a taste of we know this year, 2026, what can they expect from the Chat and Chew podcast this season 5?
Oh, we're going to have a lot of exciting guests. We're going to talk about a lot of topics that we as society are facing and dealing with. And so I encourage you to tune in. And there's a lot of podcasts like, we just done one about addiction. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people who are, in addiction or in recovery or in reentry. Tell your guy, your friend, to listen to the podcast because we offer help.
Absolutely.
We offer assistance. The guest that we're going to bring in is going to talk about our partnership with them, what they do. Partnerships is so important in the nonprofit world, not just in the nonprofit, in the world in general, and to be able to partnership with people who are doing effective things in the community. So we got an array of exciting guests that's going to be coming in this season, and I'm super excited. My staff has already got it laid out.
Come on.
We already got it laid out and planned out on what we're going to be doing, so it's going to be an amazing time.
Listen, on behalf of Fathers Forever, we're so excited about 2026. We're excited about season 5 of the Chat and Shoot podcast, and we're excited about everything Fathers Forever is going to do in the year ahead. And we just wanted to take a moment and pause before we jumped into this explosive year. We want to take a moment and say thank you for all of you who support. And I want to leave you with this one thing until the next time we meet again. Our next episode for Chat and Shoot podcast is dropping soon. But until then, I want you to do one thing. I want you to share Fathers Forever with somebody. All you got to do is go down, click that share button. If you're having conversation, tell somebody about all the great work this organization is doing. We are so grateful. Dr. Glenn, I can promise you, is so grateful that we are not doing this alone. We got you with us, behind us, and together we know we can do anything. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the opening episode of season 5 of the Chat and Shoot podcast. I'm here with Dr. Glen Warren, Fathers Forever, where we're all about healing fathers and saving families. Until next time, we'll see you.
Take part in the Dads at a Distance initiative by giving a copy of I Am a Father Forever to a friend or family member, or host a reverse book signing at your business, church, or organization. You can also contribute by joining the Fathers Forever monthly donor membership program. By becoming a monthly donor, you're directly contributing to the success of Fathers Forever programs and the men we serve. Choose the level of support that's right for you and enjoy exclusive perks designed to connect you to our mission and impact. For more information about this or any other method of support, please visit our website at www.afatherforever.com/donate.